Oh my! It must be.
It's time for the show.
Monday.
I
How
cannot
about that?
believe
It is Monday once again.
I can't believe it's another double feature. I feel like we've done double features
Well,
every
February,
week.
super short February.
I guess that's
as
why.
typical. And here we are, and we're already a full week into March. And so yet again, another double feature. This month is going to go pretty quickly as well. Time marches on, but that means more movies.
Yes. This is movie what, 97, 98?
Let me check the big scoreboard here. We are quickly approaching movie 100. These movies would be, well, no, because we are way past 100 movies. This is episode 92, right. And movies 114 and 115. We have passed over 8 days worth of movies. If you were to watch all the movies we've watched together all at once, it would take you over a week to get through them all. So we're going to talk movies, and I think movies that at least a lot of people have seen. So I'm expecting people to join in the conversation, even if you've never joined us before. As you can see the link below, EriDanLive.com. You close your browser, you take a tab, and you open that up, and you take us to EriDan Live, and you'll be in the green room, and we'll bring you in, and we'll talk to you.
The room's not really green.
There's lots of green. And we'll talk to you about our movies. Video game guy, you know, for decades they've talked about how hard it is to make a good movie based on a video game, but maybe easier when that video game doesn't actually exist.
Yes, you have reference to other games that exist and other things that exist, but that you take the main character,
or maybe Uncharted. I don't know. I haven't seen Uncharted yet. But you
I
take
thought it was Uncharted.
What?
I thought it was Uncharted.
Oh my! Starting on top.
Or Pac-Man. Did they do a Pac-Man movie that was horrible?
Well, we could talk about Pixels. There's which is kind of a Pac-Man movie. We've got, but so we want you to join us. You can be in the comments. Adam, who is always in the comments, recommended our movies for this week. So that's really exciting.
So we're going to see scores higher than 12 from Adam.
Maybe he hated them. Maybe he recommended. He's like, "I thinking." I don't know. Speaking of what was I thinking? Wade and Stacy are here with no children whatsoever.
No children.
No children.
Movies almost.
Although the movies may have been appropriate for kids of all ages.
Yeah, they watched. Well, they've all watched Wreck-It Ralph. I think they've all seen Free Guy except for Kent. So.
Yeah, Kent did. He didn't want to watch it with us, so we couldn't figure out why.
My kids won't watch movies with me anymore either. That's a whole other story. That might be why. But we've got more people to bring in. Let's bring in Brittany.
One ring to the moon. One ring to
It's Brittany.
It's Brittany, accompanied by her brand new gaming chair.
Finally, it arrived.
I know. Early though. It's not supposed to be here until tomorrow.
Your background improves every week. Every week, everything's
so
just funny. A little nicer week after week.
It's so funny. It just depends if we're sitting at his computer or mine. Then you're getting somebody else in the background.
No, it just feels like the quality just keeps bumping up every week. There's a little something in the background, a little something new, a new chair, a new headset, a new. Amazon's loving you right now.
Oh yeah.
And speaking of love, that's the best I could come up with. And I can't find the button. There's the button. Oh, Dave is here. No, that's
the wrong Dave. Sorry, wrong Dave.
There he is. How are you?
You can call me
a little. The guy looked a little bit like you, Dave.
Mr. Litwack.
That was a good stash on Litwack.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's see. We got some people in the comments. Actually, no, I lied. That's all Dan.
That's all
nobody in the comments.
Took me back to visiting the arcade on College Hill.
There was an arcade on College Hill.
You don't remember the arcade on College Hill?
I remember the one.
Before my time.
It wasn't quite on College Hill. It was a little closer to the Gaylords. It's a little further down. but it was on 18. But it was there was a. We used to go there. My
by Sims Bowling Lanes.
no, not that far.
Not that
It was,
far.
James Way.
James Way is Gaylord.
before you
Gaylord
got-
became James Way.
Yeah, we'd go there when like early 80s. Yeah. Early to mid 80s.
Interesting.
Two
No, I
arcades
missed all of that.
The two arcades I have the biggest memory of are the one at the Chippewa Mall
Yep.
with Jim and his mom. This guy, Jim Hart was their last name.
Silverball, one of my favorite pinball machines they had there.
They had some amazing machines there. And then the one at the Beaver Valley Mall that had skee ball.
Yeah.
Let's see. Now this is interesting because mine was the Chippewa Mall, the video game place I remember the most.
That's what I'm
was
talking about.
At the Chippewa Mall, and I forget what it was called, but it was next to a pizza place.
What was it called?
Fox's Pizza.
What was what?
Fox's Pizza, wasn't it?
No, it was Pop. It was oh my god, my mom will remember the name of the pizza place, right?
In
John's, something John's.
Yes, it was.
Not Papa John's, but something
No.
John's.
You're
Something
right.
John's. Come on down to Something John's.
Something John's Pizza.
Right next to the arcade.
Right. And the guy's name was Jim, and he looked just like this.
Was he wearing a referee shirt?
Yeah, I don't know what the referee shirt was all about.
Well, you know.
But it was Mrs. Hart. Their name was Hart. I guess I never knew her first name. And he sat in this back room, and he's the one that gave us change.
Wasn't he the guy who was real heavy and then he lost a bunch of weight? Is that the
Maybe.
same guy?
I don't
He
know.
lost it by eating at McDonald's all the time, he said.
Well, I remember
Wow.
that they're
That was a movie.
I
No,
mean,
no, he
Good
actually lost
documentary.
weight from not eating there.
Was
That's
his
what
name
it was.
Jared?
Subway.
All right.
Eat
I
bread.
got a special guest here tonight. Somebody who I don't know has been on, not recently for quite some time and not alone very often. Let's bring in Amanda. No.
Amanda's here.
Hey, how are you?
Doing pretty good.
Good.
Video
You
game
lured
movies.
her in with great movies.
Say doing two video game movies will get me.
I can say Adam, I give Adam a lot of credit because well tied together movies, but wildly different movies. But I think since we're talking about arcades, we should talk about Wreck-It Ralph first. So, and also, it came out first. So we'll talk about Wreck-It Ralph, 2012. The story of a regular guy just looking for a little recognition. John C. Riley, Sarah Silverman, Jack McBrayer, Jane Lynch, Alan Tudyk, and Mitty Haley. $165 million to produce this movie, but it certainly paid off with the worldwide gross of $471 million. And the critics and the audience coming in with pretty much the same opinion, with 87 and 86% over there on Rotten Tomatoes.
I was trying to remember the sequel. I know I saw Ralph.
We'll
but
talk about the
it's
sequel.
stuck in my brain zero. It's just like nothing there.
That was the one. There was like the Disney princesses were all there.
Yes.
Oh, I remember that part of it.
And
yeah.
that scene was cute. There were a couple of moments, but overall, the sequel, that's a whole other story. Speaking of
Yeah,
other
they were trying to
stories,
get the steering wheel. The
yeah,
steering wheel for
Ralph wrecks the internet is what we're talking about there.
Yeah.
I think,
yeah.
Which
speaking of
they
wrecking
said
things,
in-
okay, now we can really get started because Cody's here.
I woke him up for you. It's good. I called.
Oh, thank you.
Another memory I just had. Let me change the out. There we go, so we can see everybody. I just had a memory. The arcade at the Chippewa Mall, the pinball machines were on like risers. They were like covered in carpet. They did not have legs.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, they had them like laying
Oh,
there.
wow, really?
So I guess if
Jiggle.
they changed them out, they could
Oh,
move them out
man.
easily.
Maybe so you couldn't tilt them, or you
Yes,
couldn't
you
like,
can jiggle them, huh?
yeah.
I don't know. There's a guy here on the island that used to play professional basketball, and now he's a huge pinball aficionado. And his entire house, he has over 100 pinball machines.
Would you say he's a wizard?
He could be a
He
wizard.
played for the Wizards. There.
He didn't play for the
Pinball
Wizards. He
wizard.
played for the Nets and for the Sixers. He's 7 feet tall, and he's won like championships. I guess having that kind of height and hands that are like, you know,
Oh
this
yeah,
big really helps with pinball.
I'm sure
He's a
that.
super nice guy, and I got to go over there a couple of times for
Well,
just
the
an
best
afternoon of
pinball
playing.
players, you learn how to move the machine without tilting, how much force you can apply without kicking the tilt in, and that's what makes great pinball
And
players.
yet, no pinball machines at Litwax.
Well, the problem with pinball machines was they were a maintenance nightmare.
Ooh, yeah.
You ever talk to anyone who worked at the arcades?
Like this guy?
They were just because there's so many mechanical parts, they just would break down constantly.
Yeah,
Well,
and
and I feel
Litwax
like-
obviously never worked on any of his own machines because he was always calling a guy in.
And you know how
Always had
funny
to
it was?
call a guy
He
in.
plugs every single video game into the same outlet strip. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
even
like
if they were
serious-
across the store, they still got plugged in. The exact
to the one giant outlet strip.
At least now we understand what the third prong is for on those plugs. I never knew.
Yes.
Now we know.
I'm trying to figure out how a pinball machine would even work in like the mythology of Wreck-It Ralph, because there aren't really characters. It's mostly like mechanical and not really
Yeah.
digital. So I'm not sure how that like
Yeah,
would
that would
play
have been a
out in the-
strange fit.
Yeah.
No, jeez. Poor
Maybe
Wade.
a
Poor
Litwack
Wade
in
getting
the
cover up by Litwack. Don't do that. So now I'm assuming everybody was this anybody's first time for Wreck-It Ralph?
No.
No, of course not. It's a classic.
My mom reminded me that when she first moved here in 2012, we went and saw this in the theater with little 7-year-old Josh
Right. Yeah.
10 years ago.
I mean, this
Has it been
movie
that
to me, this movie pays off like from the moment you get the premise at the beginning, right? Like it's so awesome the way they set up the movie with the whole Badanon meeting, and he's given a little narration up front to get you in, and
And the
pays
casting.
off just
The casting
Yeah.
just was awesome. I mean, John C. Reilly as Ralph is just spot on perfect. And can you imagine a nicer guy than Jack McBrayer to be,
oh yeah,
Felix,
to be Fix-It Felix. I mean,
Fix-It Felix Jr., excuse me.
yes. Yes, because his dad gave him the magic hammer.
Yes, yeah, he had it easy. Not a silver spoon, but a golden hammer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty close.
He's no Ricky Schroeder. It's a silver spoon.
And Sarah Silverman, I mean, I think it, a fantastic casting as well.
And you can tell they did a lot of improvising.
oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Jane Lynch was great. I mean, the characters
yeah.
looked enough like them.
Yeah, Jane Lynch was probably one of my favorites in the.
And Alan Tudyk doing his best Ed Wynn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was creepy.
He was so good because
Yeah.
it was like spot on Ed Wynn.
Because Reagan, she asked me, isn't that so? Who'd he play? Pooh? No, he didn't play Pooh.
He's probably best known as the patriarch in Mary Poppins, probably
Yes.
too.
Yes, I know that. He's somebody. He's a cartoon. Maybe he's the Mad Hatter.
Yeah, he's the Mad Hatter.
Yeah, he's a
Thank
Mad Hatter.
you. And Reagan was like, I know his voice. I said, honey, that guy is dead.
Yeah.
So this is exciting. Rebecca in the comments said that this was her first time
Oh,
watching Wreck-It Ralph. That's fantastic. And she apparently is watching on YouTube from the icon. That's fantastic. That's great.
Cody was offended by that. And be a screen grab of Cody's super offended face.
That's okay. I had to go up high.
Yeah, because he's got he can duck below the comments. Go ahead, hide behind the comment. There, see, he can hide behind the
Oh,
comments.
there he is. That's
See, Adam's also stuck in traffic right now. I mean, he's also on YouTube, I mean.
So apparently YouTube is working better than Facebook Live. Who knows?
Well, YouTube typically does stream a little faster.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Rebecca, we'd love to let us know your thoughts. Let us know what you thought watching Wreck-It Ralph for the first time.
As is common.
10 years old now, but not a lot of dated references. I don't think. I mean, outside of just an arcade in general.
I mean, they were mostly referencing older games anyway, so it's not like
Yeah.
those were going to go out of style, which is probably a good choice.
Yes,
And
they were, as is often the case with the with animated features, as this thing went from initial conception to production, it went through a ton of changes. And it's interesting watching some of the Blu-ray extras because they talk about how Felix was really the main character early on.
Oh.
And they were at a certain point in development and said, "What are we doing?
Right.
Ralph is the more interesting character. Let's make this about him."
100%.
And they changed him up quite a bit. He used to be almost like a gorilla-like. He was very hairy, and they completely reworked him.
Yeah, I watched the deleted scenes on the Blu-ray, and it was a lot of Ralph being in prison and meeting this like cool surfer dude who told him about this Paradise game, and then later there's another deleted scene of them in the Paradise game.
Easy
and Ralph
living
realized
too.
that wasn't what he wanted, and leaving to go
my.
find Penelope. But there was supposed to be a lot of other games in the second half, and they ended up like getting rid of that and just sticking with Sugar Rush for.
Yeah, they were trying to get to extreme easy living too. That was
Yes,
the
that was
the
it.
Paradise Surfer game that was.
Where everyone could only say it's good, dude, or something like that.
Dude,
it's all good. That was it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'd give likes, and you'd have all these coins that appear basically every time someone liked you.
Oh my.
Gosh.
I can
we
see
talk-
where Felix would have been the main character because he is a big part of this movie too. Like you have Ralph, and then all of a sudden there's Felix. It was really equal for a while through it. It was that's easy to see.
And a really nice ending too. I mean, just with Ralph being able to see the other game, just very cute, very nicely
Oh
done.
yeah, it feels good
Very sentimental.
all the way through, and actually that's what Rebecca just said, is that it's a very sweet movie overall, and the casting was great.
Nice reference to the other game.
Sweet.
Sweet. Can we talk about how was anyone else? This is more of a question to Wade and Stacy probably than anybody else. Did Vanellope remind you of Reagan over and over again?
Oh, I have to watch it again now with that in mind.
It's just like every time I watched it, I was like, "This girl's just off the wall, fun, crazy, whatever." And then I was like, "Dang it, it's."
Does she make a lot of duty jokes?
No, she doesn't. You know what? I think we know her more than you do, so
That's
I
fair.
don't see that as much. I can see characteristics that she would do,
Energy
but
level.
it's not her.
Yeah, the perspective of a parent where you've seen a
Yeah.
child from this big to adulthood
Right.
is very different from someone who met them in adulthood.
Yes, and Reagan, Cody's known her just a few years, and not even for that entire 2 years have they hung out. So he knows some weird stuff.
He knows Vanellope Reagan.
I know some weird stuff.
College Reagan. We barely know college Reagan, so
and that that could be it.
yeah. She's a goofball.
She would be trying to get to the surfing game though.
See, that's what I kept imagining. I was like, he's making her surfboard.
Yes.
She told me today, "Oh, Dad, so and so just came out with these number 7 wetsuit booties. So I'm going to get them." I'm like, "Are you going to really need those?" "Yeah, I got to have them so I can go surfing in Erie." Okay.
I did enjoy this time paying attention to the names of the racers.
Oh,
Some of the most amazing Swizzle Malarkey. Come on,
That's a bunch of malarkey.
and a Snowana Rainbow. I mean, they're just
Oh my gosh.
Mutton fudge.
mutton
What?
fudge.
Taffeta mutton fudge.
Yeah,
Gloyd?
yeah.
that's the one I was stuck on. Chloe.
Lloyd Orange Bar. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
You get a lot of
Mindy
screen time. The guys didn't get, Rancis. What is it? Fudger Butter didn't get enough screen time either.
The third movie will get all
That might be it.
time.
I don't.
Aren't they? Who did Felix and what's her face adopt in the second movie? Was it all the little sugar girls?
Oh gosh.
that movie's really just gone.
think so.
free.
Boiler.
Tried to block
I've only
most
seen
of
that one
movie
once.
out. Yeah, I've seen it. I think I've seen it twice. It leans a little closer to the Emoji Movie.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's making those kind of jokes. Like, it's
The
like, what's
Emoji
this
Movie.
internet thing? Right? And it's not as clever, let's say, as, because Litwack gets internet, and then the characters are able to access the internet.
eBay, right? Because
Oh,
the steering
yeah.
wheel.
Yes, they go to
Yeah.
eBay. They get, they're,
they should have came to EriDanLive.com.
Yeah.
yeah.
We do get some people that try to hack in here through the Twitch account every once in a while.
Oh,
We see some weird
Interesting.
net followers that
That sounds like Hubert.
Yeah. That's it.
All right, we got Kubert. I loved Kubert being in these. I thought
Hubert was fun.
That's great.
So Richard spent a lot of time in the arcade when he lived in Korea, so he loves the whole arcade-topia the characters live in.
Oh, that whole surge protector was amazing.
What, Game Central Station? Yeah.
Pixels, you know.
I actually really enjoyed Pixels.
Look, I just mentioned it. Look what happened.
Yeah,
Oh,
on YouTube.
Oh, then they heard
you don't know Nusrat?
Come
We
on,
went to school with Nusrat.
space dot rent.
Oh,
Oh,
they're
look
all
at that
coming
one.
now.
Wow.
They're all coming now.
Here they come. You said
Come on,
hackers.
Miriam
and they
Swanson.
showed up.
How is it that I mention it and then it happens?
Yeah, well, that they were waiting for you to open.
You invited
that.
them in.
Wow.
You did.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of my favorite things in this movie is all the different little characteristics of the different types of games. I love the way the Nicelanders move. I love the tapper scene where you have to go serve all the other customers and you just switch out to the arcade view. I love the whole first-person shooter that Jane Lynch's character is like leading around and kind of how that was.
Hero's duty.
Yeah.
And it looks like exactly like those sort of like gun shooters in arcades where like you have the like NPC character leading you around and kind of the tutorial enemies that you see her fighting. I don't know, it's really clever. I love it.
It was clearly made by people who love these games, right?
Right.
Like there was such attention to that to make sure that each one of these games felt like one of those games.
Yeah.
That was another thing from one of the Blu-ray extras was they mentioned that in the in Ralph and Felix's world, other than Ralph, the characters only moved orthogonally. There was no diagonal movement. They always moved in a grid.
Clever.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Funny.
They made an exception for Ralph, but that was it.
I think the one thing that I appreciated the most about this movie was just the whoever wrote the movie or wrote the script or whatever. It was a very well thought out plot where they tried to keep you on your toes at every turn, and like even all the details behind her actually being not a racer and all this other stuff.
Right.
It was all really, really well done in my opinion.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And how well they even set up the thread of going turbo.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that to me was a surprise in 2012. I did not predict.
Yeah. No, I didn't. Definitely didn't get
Even
that.
though he was driving a white car, it didn't stink in.
Right.
Salmon. It was salmon.
Yeah, that's salmon. Yes,
definitely salmon.
And then the eclair and the donut that were his henchmen.
The devil dogs.
Yeah.
With
Another devil.
Oreo.
Oh, that was funny.
Oreo.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, there were so many good things. And the graffiti on the walls in Game Central Station. There were all kinds of little game references and things. It was really just cute stuff.
Even the Sonic the Hedgehog, where he's sort of giving you that instruction so that you
Don't
know
die.
when the character dies in a different game. It's so naturally put in there; it doesn't feel forced at all. Like they needed you to have that information, right? But instead of having it, I thought it was so perfect and a really cool way to get Sonic in there in a way. No Mario though. No,
We have the mushroom, but we don't see Mario.
mushroom.
And
Yeah, they also mentioned that
he was going to come to the party.
Yeah, I mentioned him, but no Mario.
No cameo. No.
But really, it wasn't this really Donkey Kong.
it
Well,
felt
yeah,
like Donkey
it's a
Kong.
Felix, obviously.
Street Fighter. Yeah, definitely had some Street Fighter in there.
Mhm.
But I'm just saying Ralph. Like,
And we had
Wreck-It Ralph.
Bowser, so we had the Mario representation.
Oh, that's right. You had Bowser in the Badanon.
Badanon.
Yeah.
Badanon. Yeah.
Yeah, movements.
And then every once in a while, they would just drop a random line on you, like, "Looks like the game's gone cuckoo, like my nana."
Oh, and then we might have to put this game out to pasture, like well, lots of love. Now, Dan, did you have any freaky facts?
You know what? I did not have any freaky facts.
Oh,
because
no
I
freaky facts. This movie was so normal.
I traveled and was busy, and
That's true. You've been on sabbatical,
well, I mean, sort of. I guess maybe
a work trip, nonetheless.
Well, here you
Well,
go.
Dan, I
I'll
think
share this.
obviously
There you go.
there he is.
Nice.
You were so close.
Right in front of Abe.
Yeah, just like that.
There you go. That's all.
Abraham.
I want to know, how did you get your hand twisted around there to get the other picture of the Lincoln? No, I'm sorry. Let's rate this movie. Shall we? And so much love being thrown around for this movie, including from Demetria.
Roger's
for that,
J.
but we'll find out.
Yeah.
All right, Dan.
All right, let's go around the horn. We'll start. Well, we got to start with Adam, but he's not here to put him in the picture first. So we'll put Wade and Stacy in the picture first, and wait for Adam to put his score in. But Wade and Stacy, what do you got to say about this fine film?
Well,
Well, maybe they don't think it's a fine film.
yeah,
Don't put
we've
words in
seen
their
it a few times because Reagan. There's always something on the television, and it's usually something she has picked. Usually, so we've seen it. It is really cute. I love Ralph. I think he's adorable, and he makes me sad, and he makes me happy. I like the movie. There are parts of it I don't like that feel dark and creepy, and I don't know. I just don't like stuff in the Candyland area when they're all alone, and it's just. But I don't know. It's weird. I get a creepy feeling over there. I don't like it when he's making the car and all that. I just don't like that part. I don't know why. But my score, I think I will give it an 84.
Nice.
Yeah, I liked it too, and like you said, we had to watch it a lot, and I'm pretty sure Reagan, one of her favorite characters was Vanellope, so
yeah,
she probably related to her. So I'm gonna give it like an 89.
And I have Reagan's score for it. She says Ralph is 96. No comment.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah.
That's love.
She's at work, so.
Oh, that's fair. Then she's excused.
Oh, me.
So wait, time out. Before we go to Brittany.
Oh,
Reagan has a job and she doesn't know to ask for Mondays off.
She asked for Tuesdays and Sundays off.
Well, that'll work out well for the next
for the next 2 weeks.
We'll talk about that later. Programming note coming up later this episode.
I enjoyed this movie. It's not necessarily one of my favorite Disney movies, but I do pretty much agree with all of the discussion we've had tonight. Things that I didn't see coming with the whole turbo thing, like that. I was like, what? Which is funny.
Yeah.
But I liked Vanellope a lot. She's my favorite. I don't know. And I liked Ralph and their cute little relationship where he's the hero and he gets the little homemade metal thing from her. That's super cute. Melts your heart. So I think I was at 89.
Nice.
All right. And if you look at your husband's score, is it a 90?
One more than you did.
He likes it one more than me.
One higher.
And my mom liked it. Was really cute. 85. So we'll now go to Dave. Because he's turbotastic.
Turbotastic. I have really nothing bad to say about this movie. I mean, it hits all the buttons, and it hits all the buttons in a way that isn't just for video game nerds or animation. I mean, it holds together as a story too, which is a real testament to it. It's sentimental without being too sappy. It just works. I have, I can't even think of anything to really nitpick about other than the silliness of putting everything into one outlet strip. So
yeah,
that's funny on purpose.
Safety hazard.
Yeah, the fire marshal would never approve that. But it's a 98 from me.
Wow.
It is just I wouldn't say it's a perfect movie, but it's just when I look at it, I was literally trying to think, what don't I like about it? Nothing.
Yeah.
Even comparing it to probably its closest equivalent, which is it has some similarities to maybe Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and that there's all these references to older characters that you'd know and love. But Who Framed Roger Rabbit, they almost felt forced at times putting them in. Whereas in this, it all just fit. They all just seemed naturally there, and it really worked incredibly well.
Wow. We'll keep it in the family. Amanda, what's your number?
So I shockingly like Wreck-It Ralph. It was it's one I've had on Blu-ray since it came out, and big fan of it. The only complaint I have, and I don't think I could think of any way they could have made it better, is just I find that when I watch this movie, I'm really into it and watching devotedly during the first half, and in the second half, it's on and I'm enjoying it, but it's not as engaging to me. Which I'm not sure there's a way to because it works really well narratively. So I can't think of anything in particular that I would change to make it better. But
Watch
I do.
the second half first.
Wow. Okay. Next time. I think it's just staying in Candy Crush and Sugar Rush and not having Candy Crush.
That too.
Oh, I'd never made that association before.
If you're playing Candy Crush while you're watching it.
But I think just staying in the same game so long, so you're not getting as many of the revelations of the interesting. I love the world building of this sort of thing, and there's far less world building in the second half. I think.
Yes,
yeah, I would agree with that.
But I do still really enjoy it, so I'm going to give it a 93.
All right, go over to Cody.
I really do like this movie. I was trying to think.
Could you tell your face?
Tell
my
your
face.
face.
My face is playing catch up on me today.
You were just like, I really like this movie.
No, I do. I do.
I woke him up before this.
I
Remember
know.
that he was sleeping.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good point. Sorry.
That's okay. I came home from work and went straight to bed. No, I really like this movie. I think it's very cute. I think it's very similar to Amanda. The first half is engaging to me, and the second half falls off just a little bit. Like, it's like, okay, I'm watching. There's just a lot happening. There's this and that. It kind of just drags a little bit for me. I don't think it's too long. I don't know what it is that makes me kind of fall off at the end. But like I said, the twists and turns, the plot line was really, really well done. I appreciate everything about the movie, like the characters, the artwork, the design with the gaming and the character movement and everything else going on. It's just not a movie that if it was on TV, I'd be like, oh, okay, I'm going to watch this. So because of that, I give it an 87.
All right. Adam's score is in. Driving. Like the movie a lot. 95.
There you go.
Wow.
A few words.
Nice.
And
Shortest
Rebecca
review.
says, I think it has a similar style to Toy Story. Definitely when the arcade closes and the characters have lives of their own.
Yeah.
Does not surpass Toy Story, though.
Agree.
I give it an 86.
I agree.
And I guess I have to go. And then Eric will go. And then anybody else in the comments? If Dimitri Rogers or Miriam Swanson or Nusrat Farha would like to put in your score, you're more than welcome to.
I swear, if they give a score.
They're not even watching. They're just hacking into YouTube to send chats. Because they're all coming from YouTube.
They're posting random numbers in the
I almost didn't watch it because I'm like, oh, I've seen this movie before. Like I was running out of time. I'm like, oh, yeah, I've seen this before. I'm so glad I watched. And I was like, I'll just skim it. No, I feel like I never saw it before, even though I know I did. I enjoyed it when I saw it in the theater, and I enjoyed it even more watching it again. And it does hold up well. I could not believe it was 10 years ago. I really feel like maybe it was 5, if
Right.
that. But then again, the last 2 years have been like, I don't know what's what.
Right.
So I guess that's part of it. But I agree with exactly what Dave said. Like, I can't find any fault. I think the story is great. Obviously, the animation is great. The different styles of animation to match the game is kind of cool. And I'm going to go with the 97. I mean, I really like this movie.
Nice.
Yeah, that brings us to Eric.
Hey, that's me. So I love this movie. Now, what's interesting is as I'm going to build off of what Dan just said, is that I love this movie, but it's not a movie that I remember that I love it as much as I do. And I don't know if that's a fault of the movie, but it's always like oh, do I want to watch Wreck-It Ralph? Oh, I don't know. You know, there's something about it that keeps it being like, I could watch that movie on repeat. And it could be that because of my kids, I did watch that movie on repeat for like 4 years. And I feel like I've seen it so many times.
That's it.
That's fair.
But there was something about sitting and watching it this time. And not just having it be, you're watching Wreck-It Ralph again. I mean, it's a great movie. Anybody who has, I don't know, a half a sense or should absolutely have seen this movie. I'm so glad Rebecca watched this movie and got a chance to see that. I love it. It's great. But again, there's something about it that makes me feel like I wouldn't want to watch it again tonight, you know? And there's some movies we review where I'm like, as soon as it's over, I'm like, I could cue that back up and I could watch it again. So I ended up at a 92 because it's great. It's absolutely great. Everybody should see it. It's just a fantastic movie. So
I will say, having heard Amanda and Cody's comments, I get what they're saying about the second half versus the first. I think what balances that for me is in the second half, you get Vanellope, who is such a great character that the lack of the world variance that you have, that you don't have, you because they're always spending all that time in that one game is offset by her character for me.
It's almost like when you drive somewhere for the first time, it seems like it's forever. But then your ride home seems like it's half because it's kind of boring. It's like, oh, okay. That makes sense.
I get those comments too, though, because there is so much fun in the first part where you're exploring different worlds,
everything,
different characters, and you're seeing different games, and there's all these Easter eggs, and all that kind of stops in the second half to get to the story that's happening between these two characters and what happens and how that plays out. So the second half is different than the first half, but. If it was all like the first half, it would be like Ralph Wrecks the Internet.
Yeah, and as I said, I don't think of I'm not sure how I would change it to not have it have that issue, because I do think it works really well with that second half. It just, when I think of watching the movie, I think of, oh, cool, the first half's really fun, and that's mostly what
you're right, and probably that's it. It's more fun, and there are some more serious moments in the second half, right? Where
Yeah,
I think
he breaks the car. Come on, when he breaks the car.
Oh, I mean, it's great. It's really well done. I love the movie, but
I think the one thing, and tell me if I'm wrong, and maybe they explained this and I just missed it, but like when Ralph finally goes back, and then the little dude's like, you can have the penthouse, like you're like, you win, here you go, here's the penthouse, nobody's here. They never showed all of them leaving, right? Did they show that?
No,
he was the only one guy was the last guy left. Yeah,
it just was so quick. Like that scene, like I was like, wait, what? I know Felix left, but then they never showed anybody else's reaction.
No, he said that when Ralph shows up,
he said Felix left and never came back.
He said when Felix left and never come back, everybody panicked and fled the game.
Yeah, because
they never like showed that. It just was like this super weird, fleeting thing that I'm like, did I miss the panic?
Yeah, see, I thought I missed something too.
Yeah, and I did doze for a little bit because we were watching it like 11 o'clock at night. But I woke back up and I rewound it to the last part that I had seen to make sure that I didn't miss it. And I was like, I don't think
it's quick. It's so very,
but it's
just a
that
line.
Scene
yeah, you don't get to
it
see
didn't fit.
the Nicelanders leave.
Yeah, I'm imagining the Clauses leaving scene from Arthur Christmas where they just immediately panic and like collapse the whole game.
All right. Well, that's awesome. All right. Well, everybody, then, because it is a double feature, we get to move on to Ryan Reynolds starring in Free Guy. The world needed a good guy. They got a great guy. Ryan Reynolds, Jodie Comer, Lil Rel Howery, Joe Keery, and Taika Waititi.
97%. Woof.
Yeah. So Sean Levy producing this $120 million budget, which came in with a worldwide gross of $332 million in the pandemic. Critics at 80%, the audience at 97%.
Maybe they were just so happy to get back to the movie theaters that they were giving it an extra few points.
Expectations were low.
Isn't it amazing though that this movie had a lower budget than Wreck-It Ralph?
Wreck-It Ralph, yeah.
And Wreck-It Ralph had no live action at all.
It's that animation.
CGI animation has gotten, I wouldn't say cheap, but the technology is such now that even small studios can produce pretty impressive effects.
Yeah. I was very excited when I got on the airplane to see that this was one of the free movies.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided I was going to watch it on the way home because I watched the new James Bond on the way there. But yeah, I did get to watch it on the airplane and I did enjoy it.
The opposite of a widescreen.
This was your first time for Free Guy, Dan?
It was my first time for Free Guy. I mean, it is just, a 2021 film. It just came out a few months ago.
And just recently on Disney Plus.
Right. My son and wife rented it when they were in Canada because like Netflix and they're all different up there. And there is like no Amazon Prime basically for video or something. So they rented it at the hotel and watched it. So they liked it also.
So again, great references to other properties.
Oh, the Captain America was the best.
Yes.
Chris Evans' performance in this movie was so much better than his Fantastic Four appearance.
It might have been his best acting ever.
Yeah.
This could be one of your freaky facts. Sorry if I spoil it, but
I don't have any.
Oh, okay. So I was like looking up, I don't even remember what, but they basically asked Chris Evans if he would do a cameo, and he's like, I am in town for 10 minutes. You can have my 10 minutes. That's all. That's why his cameo is that short, because he's like, I have
but it's
10
so much better
you
than
have
it's
me for
short.
10 minutes, in and out. Let's go.
It's a
Whatever
true
it is. And
cameo.
that's what they got. Yeah.
Awesome.
So
there
that was
is, I haven't gotten through, there's a whole bunch of extras on Disney Plus, which I have not gotten a chance to watch them all. But the one I did watch is a breakdown of how they did the guy versus dude.
Yeah,
scene.
that was amazing.
And it's really impressive how they did that, because they, you know, in order to have him talk as much as dude talks, it was quite, you know, revolutionary how they had to do that. And so if you're interested in that kind of thing, it's really good.
That was seriously from the very beginning. That was his number one comment was, he's like, Ryan Reynolds as a human being is too pretty to be playing this super nerdy, like just kind of spacey.
I mean, he's kind of ripped. He's ripped from the beginning.
Ryan Reynolds is no NPC. Okay.
Right. Yeah. It didn't. That role didn't fit for him. But then he became Free Guy, and then Richard was. He was in it.
It did feel
Once
weird.
he got sunglasses, everything was good.
Yeah.
It did feel weird having him already be like fairly muscular when he was level 1. So like after his training thing, he wasn't really like any
He
different
didn't look
looking.
completely jacked. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Well, when you think about it, though, when you level up in games, you don't generally become that much more muscular.
I mean, yeah, but also nothing else is realistic, so they could make that.
I think he became sexy once he was wearing the Henley. Once he had on the Henley instead of the button-down shirt.
Yeah,
and he had the
that
t-shirt.
changed everything.
That's what show off.
He's way down, right?
Yeah.
I don't. Okay, I have to put this in here. I don't know if I can say it on air, but I had to Google the joke. I needed to know what the end of the joke was.
Oh.
Put it in the private chat.
Oh, no.
That's what I was gonna do. I had to look it up.
In the middle of the movie. In the middle of the movie, she looks this up, and I'm like, you can't say that online. You can't say
a real
that.
joke. I just didn't think to look it up.
Hold on. Hold on.
You can say anything. There's no FCC here.
Oh man,
This isn't being recorded.
it was something.
I mean, it's going to be on.
I don't know. You might offend our friends in the chat who don't speak English.
Red.
Good point. Good point.
Dimitri.
John Levy has directed a lot of stuff.
That's fair.
Oh man, that's funny.
There was a little innocence like that, Rebecca, similar to Elf.
You know, with all the little, you know, the Captain America and the Hulk fist and the lightsaber. I said this to Eric the other night, like if he would have been Deadpool just for a second, or if he would have had to fight Deadpool, like one of his own character, that would have been
Free Guy 2.
Oh, is that Free Guy 2?
You know, it's got to be. You know, they're working on it.
They cut it off before the punchline. That's why I had to Google what it was. They cut it off. I needed to know what the punchline was.
You have to move this closer to Wade.
Wow.
Cody said I couldn't read on there, so I just typed it.
We're all reading it now.
Oh boy! Oh boy! Oh boy! Oh boy!
Just Google a guy in a wheelchair and a homosexual are about to team up, and just leave it at that.
Pop right up.
Yep.
Wow. Okay. Well, good to know it was an actual joke, not just.
Yeah, that's why I was like, I need to know how. Is this a real thing? I need to know how it ends.
So the joke, the ice cream was real. The
bubblegum ice cream.
I mean, honestly, I do think this movie is really clever because you get what's happening in game, and then you get the association out of game. Taika Waititi, awesomely hilarious. Like,
oh my goodness. Yeah,
to a degree, except to me, he was too over the top, and that was one of the things that held it back a little bit. I love his character, but there were times when he just made me go, Oh, come on.
Apart from the server smashing scene, which was real dumb.
Incredibly dumb.
Yeah,
I
apart
knew that
from
was
that,
coming
I
up.
actually
I knew that was coming up.
Yeah, my son goes, you don't need an axe. You can just kind of turn it off.
Turn them off.
Cut the power. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but apart
And
from
an
that,
axe
I
might not actually
thought
ruin it.
yeah, but otherwise, I thought his character was over the top enough to be very fun. So I generally liked it, except for that part where I was like, seriously.
I liked when he was on the floor and he was trying to flip himself up on
Yes.
his feet.
That's awesome.
And I think he improvised that, if I remember right from the
Of course
extras.
he did.
Yeah, there was a whole deleted scene bit of him like trying out all the different, just him improvising stuff. for all
Promise
of the lines.
he did sound a little like Korg. He just, for me, I kept hearing a little bit of Korg in there from the Avengers.
The other thing is that
Actually, Thor Ragnarok is when he played Korg. Is in Thor Ragnarok.
Brain fart. Sorry.
This was the first time I had seen anything about it. I had brought it home from work, but we never watched it. But I only kept it for a couple weeks instead of a couple of months. So, yeah. So, because just we don't have time. There's too much other stuff. So anyway, but I hadn't heard anything about it. I didn't know what it was about. I just knew it was Ryan Reynolds and people liked it. So yeah, and so when it started, and then I got to the point where I'm like, oh, he's in a game. I see why Adam picked this. I thought it was kind of cool that he did that he compared them together.
Yeah, it was a good pairing.
Yeah.
I loved the whole take off your skin exchange. That was probably one of my
bizarre.
favorite.
Who are you real? Still guy. Yeah, the whole clueless exchange when she's trying to talk to him, not realizing he's an NPC and he's just responding was really nicely done.
I mean, it's well written for a lot of that kind of stuff without being overly insulting. Outside of, yes, we're going to host this worldwide game on servers that are located in one building on the main floor,
right,
where we're producing the game.
And the day that the sequel comes out, we're going to shut down the servers of the previous game, which is something that no video game company
nobody would ever do. Well, if this is a publicly traded company, they wouldn't let him do that.
Right. Well, not only that, here's what I was going to say earlier: is it's amazing how as they take down the servers, it just in order is slowly taking.
It's like each server hosted a block, which makes no sense whatsoever.
And he's running along the bridge, and it's just disappearing. Every movie does that. Like there's that earthquake movie. What was it, 10.5? I think it was called. Like they're driving away, and the earth is opening, and it's chasing
just
them.
behind them. Yes,
right behind them.
And they're outrunning.
I want Cody's take on the actual game streamers they featured in this movie.
I enjoyed that. I was mad there wasn't Tim the Tatman, but seeing Ninja in it, Ninja was in it more than I expected him to be in it.
My kids hated that part. My kids absolutely hated.
Really?
Why? Chose. I think the people that they chose specifically is what they
people. That is fair. It was cool to see streamers. I wasn't a huge. I mean, Ninja was okay, but other than that, I didn't care.
Pokimane, you had Dan TDM, you had Jack.
I'm not a huge
Jacksepticeye, which is not anyone I'm actually.
Pokimane, excuse me.
I think in my kids' eyes, those were too mainstream.
Yeah, they're very mainstream, but also that's who you're going to get for a big movie.
The sellout streamers.
Yeah.
Although they really enjoy saying Ninja's actual name. For some reason, that is the funniest thing in the world is my kids walk around and just say Tyler Blevins to each other and they think that's hysterical.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
That's true. I like what Richard put in the comments. That's 100% true. Is that a Glock in your pocket? No, it's two.
Two Glocks in my pocket.
The thing in my mind is like, how did she feel that? How did she know that? Like, I'm thinking of like in the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There were so many lines that they kind of like were in and out of like.
They even kept with that for the ice cream where she mentions like you can taste it. So they were consistent on some bits, and other bits they had
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and then when she kisses him to bring it back, but there's no command for that. There's no
There's
button
not
for
a button
that.
for that. Well, he
Yeah.
found it.
Yeah, that was
Well, he's an NPC, so that's fair.
Yeah,
but
he's
then when
inside
she
the game,
kissed
so he can
him,
find anything. Yeah.
yeah.
that didn't. I was like, that
But
shouldn't
that by
have
that
happened.
point, you were supposed to be so far in that you didn't care,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you
It's
go,
like,
oh,
it's
true
like
love
hypnotizing
wins.
yourself to travel through time. You just have to let it go.
And I liked when he's kissing her, and you just see her, the real woman, sit back, just like looking at the screen, like, what is wrong with me? She did that very well.
Yeah.
I like that we had 2 weeks in a row we've had guys from Stranger Things in movies.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
the other guy from Stranger Things,
Billy from Power Rangers.
right? Billy from Power Rangers, and then the main guy here. And it was, I mean, what I liked about it was a love story.
Oh, 100%.
This was actually a rom-com. Adam doesn't realize it, but this was a rom-com.
I
And
agree.
Adam picked it. Yeah.
100%.
In 2 different ways. There are 2 different love stories happening.
There are. It's
Actually,
a
probably 3.
triangle in a way.
Yeah. So,
Adam's going to change his score to a 12 now.
I teared up. I got a little tear. I dropped a tear, maybe.
I love the guy trying to put his arms down.
I know.
Oh my gosh.
You're doing this.
It just feels unnatural.
It just feels weird.
I thought he was Kevin from The Office.
Oh my God. That's exactly what Josh and I said. And I said to him, he's loving The Office right now. He's finally,
That's good.
yeah.
Tell him to look for little sheets, cups, and stuff. And I forget what season they actually show up on the desk.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? Oh, yeah. Because they have
And
that.
and
Magnets.
magnets on the fridge in the break room.
And there's a Froggy radio station sticker.
Yep.
in there.
The streamers.
He hated the part with the streamers.
He did not like the streamers, and but he
See,
off more.
those could have been actors. I mean, I don't know who the
Right.
streamers are. So
Exactly.
I
that's all
didn't
know.
hate it. They just, to me, added absolutely nothing to the movie.
Mhm.
We're old, remember? Richard told
Yeah.
us we were old last week.
That's right.
Well,
Huh?
so I was talking
Nah.
to Kent about the movie this morning, and that was what he thought was neat about it, was that they had actual streamers in the movie
But he
for
didn't
a
watch
video
it.
games.
But he didn't watch it.
But he didn't watch it with us.
Wow.
Yeah. But I mean, it's
And in addition, Dan, you talked about the earthquake movies and the disaster movies where they're always, exactly one step ahead of the destruction going on behind them. The other thing they did is pause in the middle of that to have an emotional moment for like 30 seconds when every second counts. They're going
Right.
to stand there.
Yeah,
and
of course. It's time
And
to
also-
say goodbye.
The entire thing is collapsing behind them fairly linearly, except suddenly there's a void between the two of them that appears at just the right moment to separate them.
Well, yeah, but by this point, if you haven't separated from reality, you're not gonna enjoy the rest.
oh, he's
Oh,
correct.
Richard has
Richard,
small
we're old farts.
Wow.
You know what young
It's
farts
charged.
are? Crap.
Guilty as charged.
Wow.
Oh, Dan.
Thank you.
Oh,
Nicely done.
I think
Sharded.
Yeah.
Uncharted.
Right. Uncharted.
So confusing.
All right.
Oh,
we're-
Cody wasn't here for that part.
More
Yeah,
damage,
what?
folks.
The Uncharted part.
Oh, I heard it. I had it pulled up on my phone.
I think the one thing that caught me off guard, which didn't have anything to do with like the way that I rated the movie, but the one thing that caught me off guard is in my head, it was a PG movie. I don't know why I thought that. I just went into it thinking it was a PG movie, and then some of the comments that they were making, and then like dropping F-bombs, and I was like, wait a minute, what? And then I figured it out, but I was like,
Oh yeah, the 2 little girls who were playing the guy
Yes.
robbing the
Oh,
bank.
yes.
They kept cutting away. It's like smoke his ass.
I was like, I thought this was PG. What's happening?
Oh, then the Channing Tatum guy, which is this nerdy looking guy with a Twizzler.
Oh my gosh, he was
And the
so
sock.
good.
That's my special sock.
Don't touch
Mom!
my dog.
Reagan told me who played the mom.
Tina Fey.
Tina
That's
Fey
all.
was the mom.
Oh,
Was it?
No,
I
I
didn't.
didn't
oh
catch
wow.
Yeah, I didn't even
That's
notice
awesome.
till the credits.
Didn't even
There's a
look.
freaky fact.
Yep, that is
Yeah.
a freaky
That's
fact.
Never seen what was
There
it?
is no God.
Yeah.
You're 22 and still live here. I laughed at that one.
I was to say that touched Stacy's heart.
All right.
right.
Well, we have a lull. That means it's time to. I think
it's time
to score this baby and start thinking about next week.
Oh no.
We're not doing the whole thing again, right?
No, I'm not playing the thing. We only play it once a week.
I did like the guy who couldn't put his arms down. In the credits, he's listed as hostage.
Oh, and since you're talking, dude, we'll make you. You can start the scoring. Adam will put his in.
It's a good movie, and I do think it benefited from being a good movie that was one of sort of the first movies when people were starting to come back to movie theaters. I think that's part of the reason that the numbers are as high as they are. Which isn't to say it's not a good movie. I really do like it. I really felt it's not quite the sort of 50-50 that Cody and Amanda were describing about Wreck-It Ralph, where the first half they liked better than the second. To me, it's more like an 80-20. I like the first 80% so much better than the last 20% because the silliness of it, of the axe to the servers and the collapsing bridge and we've got to go through to see this game. Well, you know what? The evidence would still be there because clearly they have backups. They have a storage farm somewhere that has all this data on it. It was so,
dude.
It was just, I don't know. It's not that it has to be realistic. I don't expect it to be realistic. It was just those seemed like such ridiculous logic holes that they bothered me even through my attempted suspension of disbelief. And that pulled it down some. It's not a classic, but it's a very enjoyable movie. And the dude was hysterical. The dude was just hysterical. That whole sequence was so catchphrase. There's 3 things I love to do: kicking ass, TBD, third thing here. It's just
he's not ready.
It's really clever writing, and that was just a lot of fun. So it's an 84 from me.
All right, Amanda.
Oh, okay. So echoing a little bit of what my dad just said, I find it was interesting because I feel like I'm usually not too bad at suspending my judgment of weird computer things in movies. I found that I actually was totally fine suspending all of the dumb AI stuff, which is weird given that I generally work in artificial intelligence. That didn't bother me because that was central to the whole plot of the movie, and it was fine that AI equals alive, whatever. But the stuff that the guys when they're going into hunt down guy and they're up, they're going into the game and to confront him is fine, but then they're chasing him up the building and they're hacking to make a staircase appear. And I'm like, you would just let yourself be able to fly. Why are you making a staircase out of it? There's so many easier ways. Give yourself jump boots. You can do things without having to reprogram the design. And he's like, oh, I'm a genius. And he's typing a way to reprogram. That was, and then as I mentioned, the deleting the old game when the sequel came out. There's a throwaway line that I noted where they mentioned we killed the blue shirt, but the number of players online didn't change. It's well, it's a really popular game. The number is going to be fluctuating constantly. How are you going to see it going down by 1? And just say I don't see. I don't know. There's things like that didn't have to be dumb for the plot of the movie, but were dumb for no reason, which for that reason kind of bothered me. That being said, I do really like the movie. I love the crazy GTA game reference, what's it's like to be an NPC in that sort of world. I thought that was similar to Wreck-It Ralph. I love the world building of that sort of stuff, so very appealing. Dude was amazing. Really good movie. Just a few bits, and the axe to the server was insanely stupid. I'm still going to give it an 83.
All right, now we'll go over to Wade and Stacy. Stacy and Wade.
I guess I have to go this
Sure,
first this time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I liked it. I was the one who's saying, let's watch this. And everybody else is like, no, we don't want to watch it.
And then we had to.
So then we had to. So we got to watch it.
It's finally.
Yeah. And
lots of planes, sort of flying things anyway.
Yeah, flying things. That's what I was just trying to think if there was any planes. I don't really remember. They had motorcycles. It was good. And they flew like planes. So anyways, I'm gonna give it an 87 on this one.
87. Stacy.
It was cute. I liked it. I liked that it went with Wreck-It Ralph. I thought that was cool that I recognized that. Cappuccino. Oh,
Cappuccino.
stop the whole world. Yeah, I liked
the
it. I
tank,
like
the
Ryan
tank, arm with
Reynolds.
a tank.
Yeah, I like Ryan Reynolds. He's funny. Was he in Two Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place?
Yes.
Yeah, and so he's just. I've liked him for a long
Which
time.
they're trying to bring back.
Yes, I heard that.
With him, I hope. But anyway,
I don't think I'd work with anybody else.
and the dude, it cracked me up because when he got far away, you could tell it wasn't Ryan Reynolds' face anymore. I was like, okay. He reminded me in those scenes because his head was so tiny of, I think it's Vincent D'Onofrio in Men in Black. Is that right?
Yeah.
When he's wearing, he's in.
Yeah.
The guy's wearing him.
It reminded me of that. So it cracked
It's
me
kind of itchy.
My score is an 86 for this one.
All right. Speaking of scores, let's go with Richard real quick. He says, this movie's fun. It's neat to see movies adopt modern realities like the streamers, the recognizable gaming logos. Free City reminded me of GTA V Online, but I probably won't watch it again. Overall 80, and 60 of those points go just to Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, yeah.
I think there might be a bromance going on there.
Ryan.
Brittany, is there something we need to know?
Probably. It's okay. I'll let him have it. It's fine. He can have it. It's funny because I like this one, I think, more than he did. I liked the plot of the movie. Like, I really appreciated just the unique, I don't know, it was different to me. Like the whole, like the code of the game, like he stole it and he wrote over it, and then when it was in the blinds, I was like, that's so cool. Because at the beginning I'm wondering, why is he doing, what is the purpose of this? I don't understand why he's flipping the blinds. And so just that, I don't know, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. I would say 92.
The blind thing was cute. I do agree. That was very clever.
Yes.
It made sense. It made sense to me, who I'm not a computer person at all. So I don't know if you can really figure that out.
I thought Cody was frozen for a second.
No, Cody brought out his taxidermy project.
No.
You're not that good of a taxidermist. It's moving.
He was being bad, so I picked him up, and now he's purring. So okay, you gotta go.
Okay, bye.
What's the cat score?
No, I really. This is what's frustrating about me as a person, and I'm like, I love things, like I love the Marvel universe because it's so like there's so many things that are moving at the same time and in sync, and they make sense, and they set things up, and it all lines up well. And then there's movies like this that, like, none of it makes sense, like the whole server thing and the fact that there's not a button to kiss, but she managed to press it, and like all this stuff, and like, but I love them both. I love the movies that line up well, and I love this because, and maybe this is because I'm a huge video game guy and enjoy the streaming thing, and so all this stuff like hit my life kind of specifically. But like even just the one-liners or the quotes in this movie get me. And I don't know if anyone else's favorite quote from this movie was "Good morning" when he talked to the fish. That was my favorite quote.
With his eyes all crossed.
Yeah. But there were just parts of this movie that just killed me inside. Like I was just dying, laughing and enjoying the movie. And it was better than I thought it was going to be. And I can see past all the other issues with the movie as far as everything else. And like, even with Bernie talking about In the Blinds, like that's such a real video game thing, because video games either focus a lot to detail and they have really good reflections, or they like the old GTA games, you'd walk in front of a mirror, you can't see yourself because they didn't care about that aspect of the game, or they didn't have enough processing power at that time or whatever. So like just the little things that they did to show like the video game world was really cool. And I liked the idea that the whole AI thing and how he was the first one to do it, and that the other ones were kind of becoming able to do it as the movie went on. I don't think that was like directly addressed, but it kind of started happening. But yeah, I like this movie a lot. I give it a 92 as well.
All righty.
And actually, can you bump my score up to an 86? I'm thinking, I haven't rated a lot of movies, and I'm trying to think on my post scale. I'm just like, that feels
that is totally fine.
Calibrating my personal skill.
I understand.
And Adam, the beard of knowledge, gives it an 88.
Very nice.
Did you see Rebecca's score before Richard's?
Oh, there it is.
Oh,
I did
cool.
not.
And another
Impressive visual effects, good use of
Zoltan.
music, but I didn't
Zoltan
understand.
Bradford.
What's that?
I said Zoltan Bradford.
Oh, and
also.
Zoltar Bradford
Had something to say.
Wow.
Make your
Oh,
own
yeah.
kind of music.
I am Zoltan Vun.rent. But there's a space, so it doesn't make sense.
But an 81 is a solid score.
Yeah.
All right. And then I guess it's me and Eric are the two left. Oh, here's my mom.
Oh, there's your mom. All right.
That's
my
not your
mom
mom.
said I liked it even though I didn't really know much about games. But
And
that's
that's
a
a-
rom-com.
And that's a credit to the movie. If you can even see people who don't know the gaming background and they still enjoy it as a movie, that's a credit.
Yeah, exactly. Because like I said, it really is a romantic comedy. I knew right away that there was a crush going on between
Yeah.
those two characters.
Mhm.
And
Well, during the interview, when they're
Yeah, they
interviewing
straight up
him,
asked
is
him.
there- and she says, "Oh no, and he's just sitting there looking at her. It was just, it wasn't. I wouldn't as far as say it's a heartbreaking moment. You just immediately felt for him because you knew that he was harboring feelings for her that she wasn't reciprocating, and he hadn't been able to tell him. He hadn't been able to tell her.
yeah.
Hashtag friend zone.
Yep.
Yes.
Friend zone.
So yeah, I did like that aspect of it. I loved the references, like I said, the Captain America, the Hulk, the lightsaber. I was like, cool. But again, he's hitting the guy with the lightsaber and it's not doing anything. It's like
I said that. I was like, he's going to cut him in half. And then he
He's
didn't.
an NPC, so it's however he's been designed is gonna. If his skin is impervious, then it's impervious.
Okay. I like that he had the tattoo of the
A blue shirt.
The shirt tattoo was cute, and the game over boxers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also love when he put the glasses on. How just like. Yeah. So overall, I think I like Wreck-It Ralph better, but I think this is a very good, very very good pairing of movies. Congrats, Adam. I'm gonna go with a 91.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, there smokes. Honestly, I mean, everybody has said everything at this point. I love this movie. I feel like comedy is hard, and I feel like when you're doing this is probably the different, like Adam mentioned, being a Marvel fan and you love that continuity and you like everything in the universe to make sense. In comedy, I'm a lot more flexible than I am maybe with my sci-fi, right? That it's like I want a little more to be like logical. Eternals, anyone? No, but
yeah, I was just thinking about
The Matrix, anybody?
But again, in comedy, you sort of let a lot more go. Like we knew Tom Hanks wasn't going to put on a dress and actually be able to go live within a woman's community when we watched Brooklyn Buddies, but we let that go because it was Bosom Buddies and
You
it
knew
was
Peter Scolari could do
and
it.
it was all good. So
Peter
I ended
Scolari
up
was a
at
good
an
one.
89 because again, this is a great movie. I don't know in 10, 15 years if this will be a movie I want to watch on repeat. But it's so fun. It's just so fun to watch this movie that it is a kind of movie I could easily watch again, tonight. And it was just fun. It's a good time.
And I will say that, in Wreck-It Ralph, there was such great casting. When we mentioned that when we were talking about it. In this movie falls apart if you don't have someone as good as Ryan Reynolds in that role.
Ooh.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. If this was Adam Sandler.
Oh.
No, because he still had to be sexy.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And I remember I went and saw A Quiet Place 2. Was one of the first movies. It was the first movie I went back to the theater to see because
Reagan also.
my son's friend, his dad rented out the theater for $99 and they could take 20 people. So I got to be one of the 20, and 3 of the 5 previews had Ryan Reynolds in them.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
And this was
He
one
does
of the
a lot.
movies. I forget what the other 2 were, but this was definitely one of them.
What is going on?
I don't know if you guys knew this. I have a freaky fact.
Well, Reagan gives an 80, by the way. I see it in the comments. Wade.
Oh, sorry, I missed that.
Where?
It's
It's
in
in
the
the private chat.
Oh.
You could have just said it, but okay.
But you guys were all talking. I kept trying.
Oh,
So
Sometimes it's hard to get a word in.
Just go like this. Just go, shut up. Stop.
Did anyone else notice that Hugh Jackman was in this movie? Or was it just
I
me?
wouldn't have noticed it if you didn't point it out. And he wasn't in it for long enough for anybody to notice it if it wasn't pointed out to them.
Was he the greatest showman?
Nope. Hugh Jackman is the guy that she's talking to in the alleyway with the mask on. That she winds up shooting.
What?
Oh, really?
Yep.
She gets the chip.
I heard it. I heard the voice, and I was like, "That's
Rock
freaking
was
Hugh
in this
Jackman."
movie, but I have no idea where.
Too many questions.
He also has a mask on.
Isn't
Wait.
the Rock the body that they used for the dude?
That's what I thought. I thought it was going to be
Oh, it
him,
could
and
be.
then it's Ryan Reynolds' face.
Yeah, but I mean, it could be his body.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Although
It
you
was
said that
not.
he's
It was
really-
not. It was a professional bodybuilder.
Yeah, the guy. They really didn't need to enhance him that much. He's not as tall as they made him in the movie, but he is a huge guy.
And his name is Guy. No, it's not.
His name is Dude.
His name is Dude.
I
That
was
would
happy
be a
that
freaky
Buddy came
fact
back
right
at
there.
the end. That made me happy that Buddy came back.
And I kept feeling like they wanted to have Kevin Hart in that role, and they couldn't get him.
That's
'Cause
what Reagan said.
I really felt like the guy was acting like Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
Reagan
I
said the
agree
same
with
thing. I said he looks like some cartoon guy, and Reagan said Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. He looks like
Yeah.
Yeah. Get
beard.
back in there, Tier. Okay.
And one last thing before we go into next week's stuff, just in honor of my Pennsylvania people, my roots. When we were in DC at the WW2 Memorial, we stood in front of the Pennsylvania one and took a picture.
Aw.
Oh,
No, it's just Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. That's what my dad
Plural of Pennsylvania. Yeah.
That's what my dad called it. Pennsylvania.
Nice.
Most people around here say Pennsylvania.
I don't
People
know.
who aren't from here.
You might be
That's
hanging out with the
crazy.
wrong people.
I live in
North
Worcester.
sales.
Adam's scoring a major coup this week with two movies.
Wow.
Hey.
All one.
All of one.
Man.
Look at that.
Dang.
Wreck-It Ralph and Free Guy performing quite well on the rankings here.
That means 2 got pushed to that last column.
And
Yep.
yes, it does mean that we Buck Privates and the Virgin Suicides. I almost said the Virginia Suicides, which I have no idea what that would be. But yeah, those got bumped down to the second page. Second page still solid, some solid movies in there.
I was reading a list. I think it was compiled from Reddit. There was a list of the movies with the worst names. Actually, good movies with the worst names, and I think Shawshank Redemption was number 1. But Room was also on the list.
Oh, interesting. Well, yeah. I mean,
But that's what it's about.
Wait, no, it fits. It
Yeah.
fits.
What about
But
Room?
if you're trying to sell the movie and get people to come see it.
Yes,
it
how do you get them to
tells
go
you
see
nothing.
Room? All right, well, I guess it is time to discuss next week's movie. This could take a while. All right, I believe we have everybody here, and I know most of you have gotten a chance to put a movie on the wheel, but this is your opportunity to change your movie if you want. And Amanda, you get to add a movie to the wheel. And Cody, you had our movie choice before the double feature, so you need to put a movie on the wheel. Mm-hmm. And if anybody wants, since it has been a week, I will go through the list really quick to remind people what they have. Adam has Michael Clayton. Brittany has Warm Bodies. Dan has Dave. Dave has My Cousin Vinny. I have Jumanji. Richard has Kubo and the Two Strings. Reagan has Mean Girls. Stacy has Wonder Woman. Dan's mom has Don't Look Up. Wade has Jungle Cruise. And Rebecca has Cool Runnings.
Although she wants to change hers to The Last of the Mohicans.
Oh, wow. There it is.
I mean,
And Richard wants to change his to Tenant.
Factors in there.
It's a
I haven't
great
seen
movie.
that. I would like to see that.
That is a mind movie.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Right.
Allegedly. We can't go. Let's not prejudge.
Good.
Do I want to change mine or not?
Great question. And
It
Cody
is.
or Amanda, do you have an idea what you might like to suggest?
Yeah, I think I'll put on Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Ooh.
Good.
And in homage to Peter Dinklage's new movie, I'm going to change mine to Roxanne.
Ah,
Oh, nice.
With Steve Martin.
Roxanne.
Yes.
Right. Cody.
I'm still. You can put me on there, and it shouldn't even land on me, but I'm still thinking. And
I don't know. It's it's a 1 in like 74 chance.
It's been known to happen when you
A lot
least
better than
expect it.
lottery.
Oh, you know what? I know what I'm going to put on there.
What are you gonna put on there?
I'm going to put on Fury.
What is
Nick
it?
Fury?
Ooh,
Fury.
okay.
Fury.
I've seen that.
Fury.
Okay.
Nick Fury.
Harper's here.
Oh, Harper. Oh my goodness.
Harper hasn't been around.
Absolutely,
in forever.
Harper.
I thought we had a prohibition against any Michael Bay movie being added.
No, I think it needs to be a. I don't know. We'll watch all 6 of the Transformer movies.
You know, Transformers, they are more than meets the eye.
Isn't there more than 6 now? Isn't it like 7?
I have.
There's sort of tangent, like Bumblebee, which isn't
Bumblebee.
a Transformers movie. It's not one of the Transformers movies. So
Goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, I'm so excited. Harper hasn't been around for a little while. That's exciting. Nice to see you, Harper. All right, here it is. Whoa.
So colorful.
Woo! My goodness. So if those of you who don't remember or don't know, your chances, you get more and more chances on the wheel the more weeks you don't get chosen. So that's why so many people have repeated answers on here for depending on how many weeks they have been here with us and haven't had a movie chosen. So we do one shuffle. Point.
And just like that, I found myself. Okay, cool.
Oh, there you go. All right, let's see if Cody or Amanda get their one vote, or Harper. We don't have one vote on here. Let's see what we get.
Oh, yeah.
If we spin the wheel, and this Monday, no, actually, Sunday's movie will be. Oh, we're going with Richard Stanton.
Yes.
Go! Wow.
I am not sad about that.
I have seen that once.
Oh, I'm so
I saw
excited.
it 1.5 times because I had to go back and watch the beginning again.
It okay. Now this is I will make the point. This is not a movie that you should be staring at your phone or making dinner.
Oh no, you have to pay attention.
Comment will be, I didn't understand, because you're not going to understand if you are watching. You're not watching.
Oh boy. Okay.
So Tenet, do we have an idea where we might find Tenet for people to watch?
Oh, that's a good
I
question.
think I recorded it when it was on a free preview of HBO a while back.
So you can head over to Dave's house. All right, so
It's on
is
HBO Max.
streaming on HBO Max.
It looks like it's on Hulu. Is
Hulu.
it on Hulu? Yeah, it looks
Yep.
like it's on Hulu.
It is available for rent on Hulu. I know that.
Oh, it's HBO Max through Hulu. That's one of those ones where they
Oh,
can-
there you go.
Yep.
There you go. So yeah,
I
HBO
recorded
Max.
HBO a while back. So I do have that.
And I don't know what that icon's for. It's for on-demand Spectrum if you have that. But it's also for rent, $3.99 everywhere else that has movies. So
Go to Redbox. They might still have it.
2020. Yeah, you might get it on
Redbox still
Redbox
thing.
and your local library. So don't hesitate to head over to your local library where you can get a copy there.
I mean, we could do a watch party and really mess with everybody's mind, and like put it, go not be online and just watch
you
it
could-
together through here.
Yeah. If
It's always an option
It
if
is
we
a
can't- if
6-hour
everybody can't
movie.
find
No,
it.
I'm sorry, it's not.
It's a 2.5-hour movie. I think, right?
2.5-hour movie. Just feels like 6. No, okay. No, I'm kidding.
Very good point. Watch this movie when you're awake and alert, and don't blink. So sit like this for 2.5 hours. Just get lots of Visine.
This movie will require your attention.
I'm
Well,
so
that's
excited.
awesome. That we haven't had a movie quite like this for a little while.
That means I'm going to end up watching the baby next week, so he can come in here and be on stream and talk about it. We're going to have to switch roles.
Oh,
You're going to have
man.
to test your rating, huh?
Yeah.
That's fair. That's more than fair. So there we go. So let's talk about what else people have been watching. So there's obviously a lot more to watch than movies about people trapped in video games. So what else has caught your eyeballs this week?
James Bond.
What did you think of This Is No Time to Die?
I can't wait till the next one. That's all I'm going to say. I like the movie, and I also watched Quantum of Solace.
I like that one.
I do like that one. I still
They
like.
haven't announced who the next Bond is, have they?
What's that?
They haven't announced who the next Bond is, have they?
No.
I thought it was Reagan. No, I'm sorry.
Never know.
Oh, that's where she is tonight.
Vanellope Bond Sweets to.
Yeah. She's in conditioning for the role. Yes.
She actually goes.
She
to
does
boxing
take boxing exercise. So.
every week.
See, there you go. Does anybody who would everybody like to the next James Bond to be? Who would you cast if you were given the chance right now?
Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd.
It's
A little old.
solid.
I would watch that. Yeah, I know, but he looks amazing.
He does look amazing.
He looks younger
Sexiest
than.
man alive.
Oh, he is younger than. The
Right,
current
well,
Bond.
what about a Ryan Reynolds as James Bond?
Couldn't take him seriously.
No.
No.
Bad English
Hold on.
accent.
No.
Hey, Jake Gyllenhaal, maybe.
Ooh.
Oh, Adam, that's a good point.
I don't know.
Henry
I don't know
Cavill.
who it is.
Cavill is not a good enough actor, in my opinion.
Hmm.
He's not a bad actor. I just don't think he's good enough to carry a franchise.
I think Michael B. Jordan is who's doing it. isn't
Jordan
it?
would be a better choice, I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know who either of them is.
Michael B. Jordan was Killmonger in Black Panther.
I don't know who that is.
Yes.
And that all
And-
just went right over her head.
Michael B.
Henry
Jordan,
Cavill
not
is
Michael
Superman.
the.
I just said I
Jordan.
don't know.
Mhm.
I watched Man from U.N.C.L.E. like a month or two ago, and Cavill was, and I don't blame him entirely because the movie was not well written or directed, but he was stiff as a board in that movie. Man,
He can only do Superman.
he is not a great
Oh.
Superman.
I know who we're talking about now.
Henry Cavill.
Well, I didn't realize that Michael B. Jordan was in the reboot of Fantastic Four in 2015.
Oh well, that discounts him then.
What's his face from?
Just saying.
Chuck?
He was he Doom?
No.
I don't know. He was also apparently in Space Jam. Hold on a second. What is happening here?
He was in Space Jam. Well, he's definitely off the list.
He was. Oh, he was the Human Torch.
Oh, he was.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
I saw that only once, and that was barely.
that was
So-
enough.
Yeah, more than enough. It's awful.
I like Daniel Craig as James Bond, but I like Skyfall. It's still my favorite of those.
Really?
I honestly, I liked Remington Steele.
Yeah, I think he got it too late.
Yeah. He was a
I
little-
thought that the one that he did, did he do one?
Oh,
did
he
more
did
than one.
Three.
three. He did three.
I only
Yeah.
saw one.
Yeah.
Well, that was a mistake.
I was glad that he got to do it because when he was younger and was going to do it,
Mhm.
his wife got sick and he couldn't. But I
I thought the reason he couldn't do it was because he couldn't get out of his Remington Steele contract. That's what I read.
That was the initial
Yeah.
reason.
yeah, but then his wife died, so it wasn't going to happen.
GoldenEye is pretty good. It's an excellent video game.
Oh yeah, the video game's better than the
An
movie.
amazing experience. Take out your Nintendo 64.
Video game better than the movie.
Movies on Christmas to see.
Which one?
GoldenEye.
Yeah, probably.
GoldenEye. Die Another Day was not.
Let
good.
go.
I liked him, but I think that he was no match anymore for the guys who've done it. I really like Daniel Craig, which is weird. He's
Yeah, he was
just
good.
he's just
My wife has major problems with a blonde James Bond.
James
Well,
Bond.
Roger Moore was blonde.
James Blonde. Yes, a James Blonde.
Yeah, but Roger Moore was one of the worst Bonds too.
But he was my first Bond. I mean, the first.
Don't forget your first Bond.
I think Octopussy was the first one I saw,
Mm.
just so I could say it
Yeah.
as a night
I
Moonraker.
don't entirely blame Moore. I shouldn't say he was among the worst Bonds. His movies were among the worst Bond movies. That's a better way to phrase it because they got way too campy for a while there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Super camp.
His were all gadgety.
Yeah, and Jaws. Much as I love Richard Kiel, Jaws was just dumb.
Voltaire.
All the different Q's and M's.
Yeah, that's the fun part.
And I was really mad. Quantum of Solace is when is it M? Am I or Q? M dies, and I was mad. I love her.
Take it.
Wait, was she M or was she Q?
That's Skyfall.
Who made the
Is
gadgets?
it Skyfall?
Yeah, she was definitely M.
No,
Yeah,
not the
Q was the gadgets.
Q's the gadgets.
Q makes the
M
gadgets.
was
M's in charge.
Judy Dench,
Yeah, I love her.
and she died in
In everything.
Skyfall. Is that the one?
I think
Yeah,
it was Skyfall. Yeah.
Spoiler.
It wasn't Solstice. Well, no, I knew.
Oh, okay, good.
I think it's okay.
It's been 15 years or something.
Something like that. Yeah, I think that's
But I love her in everything she does. I watch everything I can with her in it. I like
Judi Dench, yeah.
Oh,
She's a dame.
amazing.
Yep.
She is.
Oh yeah.
Adam's been binging Schitt's Creek.
Oh, I love Schitt's Creek. Yeah.
Great show.
Well, we have Netflix now. We can watch it.
Mm-hmm.
I've been watching more of Severance. If you guys haven't started it yet on Apple, it's so good.
We did watch the first episode of Murderville.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the first episode, not bad.
Yeah, first episode was fun. I'm not sure how they hold up.
See, and that's where I'm not sure I need the rest of them.
But the
Based on
premise,
the preview that is at the end of one, I'm like, I don't know.
I'm watching Psych.
Oh, really? What are you watching?
Sorry.
That's an 80s joke.
I know. Oh, an old fart. Sorry.
Old farts would think that was really funny.
Yeah.
It was hilarious. Hilarious.
We
Hold on.
finished-
Bad means good. No, I'm sorry, guys.
We
Let me
finished
change my background to black and white. Okay, go ahead.
we finished A Boy in King Arthur's Court, which actually I think James Bond was in that, right? I think that's the one.
James
Richard was
Bond
like,
is
"Do you
a real
recognize
character.
him?"
Which James Bond?
There were several
Oh.
James Bonds.
Daniel Craig. I think.
Daniel Craig.
I
Really?
think he's in that. And Richard was like, "Do you recognize him?" And I was like, "No, he's so young."
No.
I didn't until he. I think that's it. He can correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but I thought that was him. What else?
I did finally watch What If.
Oh,
Did you?
I haven't finished it.
I haven't either.
I won't give anything away. It was very uneven.
Yes,
Some episodes were very good and some were just bad.
Awful. Yes,
Yeah.
I agree with that.
but I did enjoy how it ends. That's all I'm going to say.
I mostly enjoyed how it ends.
I will agree with that. I do mostly agree. I think it's worth getting through.
I'll have to say,
Yeah.
Kent watched the whole way through it, and he agrees with you. He liked how it ended. And I watched a couple with him, and I was just like, I don't know about some of these.
They made the mistake, I think, of starting out with one of the weakest episodes. I mean, the
Oh yeah,
the Captain Carter episode to me
Yeah.
just was.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad. It was just boring.
It was boring.
Yeah.
I agree. I haven't watched any since, so
Yeah, so you got to pull people in with your first episode, and I don't know
Mhm.
why they sequenced it that way.
right. And I only watched it because Kent wanted to watch it,
Mhm.
and I was sitting here, so I let him. He asked. He never asks to do that. So yes, come be among the living.
We know he's
And now we know what's happening to the Netflix Marvel series. They're all coming to Disney Plus in the very near
They
future.
are, right? And that's including Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., from what I understand.
Yes.
So that's
Did you
kind of
guys-
nice.
Ever watch Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist?
Oh,
Yes.
stop.
Yes.
Oh yes.
Stop.
I watched.
Excellent.
That was one thing that I did watch on the Roku channel was the Christmas movie. And
Oh,
I
I
was
still
really
haven't seen
bummed.
it.
So is
I
Extraordinary
was
Christmas.
so
yeah.
bummed
Oh. Why?
because they had to do it to wrap up everything because they canceled the show, which I was really bummed about because it was such a good
Yeah.
show.
Yeah.
We didn't see the Christmas, I don't think.
No.
It's on the Roku channel, so I had to watch it in the bedroom. I couldn't.
Although there
play it.
was talk that if it did well enough, Roku might commission additional movies.
But I don't think. I think they tried so hard to wrap up everything just
It's
in case
possible.
that
Yeah.
it isn't gonna have done well.
Yeah.
I was bummed by it.
Yeah, we watched that. It was a weird concept, interesting. And that's where Reagan realized that Peter Gallagher was not as pretty as Robert.
She's got eyebrow issues.
She does have eyebrow issues.
She does.
Well, it's interesting when you watch, if you leave the Roku, because the Roku has a bunch of different screensavers you can put on it, and they're all animated and they scroll across, and they have references to movies on them. And one of them that I'm sure Stacy would absolutely love is if you put on the Western themed scene screensaver, at some point you see a giant mechanical spider in the background.
No.
No. Just no.
No.
She did not like the remake. Yes.
I was so disappointed in that remake.
It was
horrid.
awful. It was
It was
awful.
Really was.
And I love Kevin Kline.
I did too. Now I
think
don't.
Will Smith is excellent too, and they just completely wasted their talents in that movie.
They really
Yeah,
did.
but I've watched it multiple times. I don't know. It's so bad, but yeah,
it is bad.
Speaking along those lines, what was Dr. Lovelace, the little guy?
Yeah.
So her and a bunch of her Wild West buddies got together down in Delaware.
Wild West. Come on,
Yes.
get the name
Wild
right.
West.
Yeah, that sounds a little better.
I'm an old fart.
West buddies.
Anyway,
they order pizza, and this dwarf delivers it to them.
Because in the show, one of their nemesis was
Dr. Lovelace
was a dwarf. Not
Oh.
a legless guy.
He gets out of the truck and they're like, "Oh my gosh, look!" That's pretty funny.
Oh my god, I forgot all about that.
That was so funny. I remember that.
Oh my word. Anyway, what a weirdo.
I just remembered one thing from sorry, my brain works weird. You said, "Oh my word." Wreck-It Ralph. There's a point where Felix says, "Well, I'll be dipped."
Yeah.
And that is
That's a Roger Rabbit reference, I assume.
Is it Roger Rabbit?
Oh.
Yeah, the dip was what they would use
Yeah.
to destroy tunes in Roger Rabbit.
That's true.
Because there's a guy I watch on YouTube. It's called Vice Grip Garage. I've talked about it on Clutch Radio, and he's like from Minnesota, and he's like, "Well, I'll be dipped." Like I thought it was like you say, "Well, I'll be damned." I thought it was that, and I actually Googled it, and it's a hillbilly term, and there's more to it. It's, "Well, I'll be dipped in crap."
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's what. Well, I'll be dipped in Schitt's Creek. That's actually what it is, without the creek.
Uh-huh.
And it was just funny that that was thrown in there too.
Well, that's very Jack McBrayer too. That's his persona, that sort of southern, that hillbilly-ish. Go, come on! What was it he would say to the Jane Lynch character when he was about?
You mean the honey glow something fierce?
Honey glow, yes. My cheek.
That's not blunt force trauma. That's the honey glow.
30 Rock, because that's where I first noticed him.
Yeah, that's where.
Yeah, 30 Rock.
Yeah.
And yet he also he did things you wouldn't expect. Like he was on the Triumph the Insult Comic Dog Show.
Mhm.
Whatever TV show he had for a while, Jack McBrayer was a regular on that, which is a really strange combo.
All right, Richard's got some stuff. Let me see. Nothing worth it. A BuzzFeed short about comparing one certain food at 3 different prices and then judging what was worth its price. They do this a lot on Rhett and Link as well. They do that same thing. And he says that he loves cooking and food is really enjoyable for me. And then he does say, "Sorry about the old first joke. My bad."
No, we're not going to let you live that down.
We're never going to let that go. It's all good.
I have no problem with it. I fess up.
Yeah, I'll totally go.
Law and Order, Organized Crime.
That's crime.
Yeah. I did not see it yet, Adam, but I'm looking forward to being disappointed. Thank you.
Oh. Well, you have to take what Adam says with a grain of salt because everything's different for him than it is.
I don't know after this week.
Not when it comes to organized crime. He and I are the only 2 people that are watching that show.
Okay.
That's a problem. That's a problem for the network if you 2 are the only 2 watching the show.
Who's in that one?
Chris Maloney, Stabler, Elliot, the guy that played Elliot Stabler.
I loved him.
Yeah. So now he works for an
Yeah, they
organized
do
crime unit.
crossovers.
So
within the new SVU, he goes back and I think
Olivia
he's gonna,
Benson's in it a lot.
Yeah, I think he's
because
going to
they love each other.
They do.
Oh. I thought it was Chris Noth. I'm sorry, I'm thinking of the wrong guy.
Oh, she doesn't like it.
Oh, Mr. Big.
Oh, no, I know who you're talking about, but yeah, Mr. Big.
But the old new Law and Order came back, and Sam Waterston's in it.
I like him too.
He's the DA.
How is it?
I think it's pretty good. I thought the acting was absolutely horrible.
Oh,
But
yeah, you said that last week.
Yeah, I think it's going to get better. Because it can't get worse. So,
Pretty sure.
well,
So I don't know if those on the West Coast would want to fly to Pittsburgh. Coming up next month, we have a large, what they refer to as Steel City Con, where they're bringing most of the cast from Vacation together.
Oh yeah.
So Chevy Chase and
Olivia, Beverly D'Angelo.
Beverly D'Angelo's going to be here. Christy Brinkley is going to be here. I'm trying to remember everybody else.
Dennis
not
Quaid.
Dennis Quaid,
Randy
though.
Quaid is going to be here.
Randy Quaid.
Randy Quaid, I mean, excuse
The
me.
woman
I
who
said the same
plays
thing.
Randy Quaid's wife
We both said Dennis
is
Quaid.
going to be here.
Randy's the one that's gone a little nuts lately. So
Yeah.
We'll see. Hold on. I'm going to bring up the whole thing here. Let's take a look.
Will Jane Krakowski be there?
Let's take a look. Here we go. Here we go.
Daddy says I'm the best kisser.
Here's our.
well, Randy is appearing.
So
He is an exceptionally extreme conspiracy theorist.
Yeah.
Christina Ricci is going to be here.
I mean,
Amy
how many
Antier is going to be
different
here.
Russes are going to be there?
Oh, I'll
Anthony
be there. I'll be there. I'll be there.
Cody.
Heather Locklear?
Brooke
No.
Bundy.
Matthew Lewis?
No,
Heather
excuse me.
Locklear.
Hayden
I saw
Panettiere.
somebody.
Oh,
I saw
man.
somebody. I'm going.
I know who you
Wait,
saw.
this isn't all for.
No, this is not all for the vacation.
I was going to say these people weren't on vacation.
These are all the celebrities that are going to be
Oh,
here.
okay.
They've mixed them up a little bit.
Yeah, but now they do that selfie thing at all like the conventions where you have the plexiglass between them and you stand next to each other
Well, that is true.
for the photo ops. Like you can't actually stand next to them. You have the
The
That
saddest thing is they are doing a vacation panel, but Chevy Chase is not going to be part of any panels.
Oh.
He's such an asshole.
He is.
She's my,
Everything I've read about him pretty
she's
much.
my
agrees with
English.
that.
I don't think he's going to be on your
Excuse
show.
my English. Finally getting real there, Dan.
Yeah.
The a friend a guy I used to work with who now works for Amazon out in Seattle. He was in town for the first time in several years, so we got together yesterday. It turns out the only reason he was in town was because Bill Shatner was in Pittsburgh doing some panel somewhere, and he got tickets for it.
Wow.
So he got to meet Bill Shatner.
My
If you would like a
God.
picture, if you would like a picture with all the vacations people,
Ooh.
including Chevy Chase,
That's going to cost you.
$660.
You know what? That's actually not bad because the
Yeah,
Back to the
it's-
Future one I think was 775.
Mm.
Do you get a picture with the dog?
Mm.
Just the stuffed dog. Do you have to bring your own?
Just to
supply
change
your
the
own
back of
dog?
the family truckster.
They definitely have to have a reproduction of the Family Truckster, though, because that's probably the most iconic character from the movie.
Well, Lindsey Buckingham. Will Lindsey Buckingham be there barking and
We know John Candy won't be there.
It's
Oh.
No.
the thing and it speeds up.
Sadly, no.
well,
We're doing-
okay, since you're going to do that, I'm going to go to Emerald City Comic Con
Oh,
and we'll see who's going to be here so you guys can come to Seattle. Do they have anybody announced yet? Hold on a second.
well, that would help.
Oh no, you can apply. This is still applications are open to be in a panel or a professional.
Oh, so you should sign up to be there.
We should do an EriDan. We should like just make up we should make up that we're this huge thing.
We couldn't even get into Steel City Con. What are you talking about?
You know what? After the sitcom, they're going to beg us to be on there.
Well, this is-
We'll do all of them. We'll do a sci-fi version. Actually, you don't have to do sci-fi anymore for these things. Vacation's not sci-fi.
Michael O'Keefe's to get a photo with Michael O'Keefe. It's only $50.
And who's he?
$40 for Tuesday night. I don't know who Tuesday night is.
Is it Wayne Knight's brother? I don't know.
There's only one person I want a photo with there.
Uh-oh.
Beverly D'Angelo.
Nope.
No.
Hayden.
Hayden Panettiere.
That's my girl.
Oh,
Save the cheerleader, save the world.
she's a hero.
She is.
Did you ever know?
You know,
She's
I-
also. I also feel weird saying that because the first time I ever saw her, she was the little girl in. Oh my gosh, why can't I think of the name?
Remember the Titans.
Remember
Guiding
the Titans? Yeah.
Oh, I watched that one. I didn't say that.
Which
forgot
one?
about
Which one?
Who's in the
Remember the
guiding light?
Titans.
Oh,
She's the guiding light.
Oh.
yeah.
So there you go. Coming up in April. So unfortunately, I am unable to do the show the next two coming Mondays. So I think we're going to move these to Sunday night for the next 2 weeks.
Sunday, EriDan Film Festival. You'll buy the whole ticket, but you only need the wait.
You have a short week to watch Tenet.
Yes, you have a short week.
Mm.
One movie the length of two.
Your ticket will buy the whole seat, but you only need the edge.
You need the guitarist from Guns N' Roses?
Yeah.
No, that's from U2.
You
Yeah,
too. He's from U2.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Slash is the Guns N' Roses.
I have a
No.
friend who looks like
Excellent.
the Edge when he wears the hat like the Edge wears, and when he takes it off, he looks like Larry David.
That
I know
what's
you would
weird
never think
about
Larry David and the
this
Edge
week-
could be the same person, but
You heard what Larry David did this last week, didn't you?
yeah.
The day before his documentary was supposed to drop, he told them not to show it because he wanted to do it in person or something. He wanted to premiere it in person or something like that. So HBO pulled it at the very last second.
It was also going to air during the State of the Union.
Oh,
That might have had something to do with it.
That's not ideal.
Yeah,
I would've
nobody would have
watched
watched. Nobody would have watched the State of the Union, and that's why.
Well, it's funny. I was at a dinner in DC during the State of the Union, and I get in the Uber to go back to my hotel, and the guy goes, "What's going on tonight? It's really a lot of cops out there." I'm like, that wasn't really his voice. I don't want to offend. It might have had more of an accent.
Catchphrase.
Yeah. And I said, State of the Union. He goes, oh. And then somehow he got behind the lines. So we were actually like in the circle.
wow.
So it's going on. Like this. I took this like at 10 o'clock. So it's still happening. Actually, maybe it was the time. 10:13. And so the guy keeps looking down the road. He's like, how do I can't go. That road's blocked off. I go, no, it's blocked off coming this way. You can go out. And he's like doing U-turns. And finally I go, just go. Trust me. I'm like,
wow.
Yeah. So he went down. The cops waved us through. Because they're like, yeah, get out of here.
That's one problem with Uber drivers versus professional cabbies.
It was, and I did, because the company was paying for it, I did the nice black Uber. So it looked, I think it was a Suburban. So it looks like I was,
Did he give you a good rating afterwards?
That's why
I don't know. I'm so paranoid about my ratings.
The ratings are very important.
You're working on a sitcom. You should be worried about your ratings.
I know.
All right, so we're gonna do a little thing here. We're gonna do a little thing here. This is a surprise.
Oh, we're doing a thing?
Wait, look at Adam's comment too, because I
What
definitely
Adam has to say.
I agree with that 100%.
I still city
So
to
much.
get in the door is not bad, but photos and
But anything else, like just to get an autograph for
But
some of
that's
these
how they get
people
those
is like
people there.
$200.
If you're going for the
That's not
dealer
the
room,
con.
it's a good deal.
That's
Okay.
not the conference. It's the people.
So here's the thing.
know
The
it's
conference makes a little bit of that money too. But Tom Wilson from Back to the Future was never going to do these. He's like, no, I'm not doing it. And then he did one and he made like $50,000 in an afternoon. He goes, okay, I think I'm going to do these.
Wow.
Buttheads.
Yeah, how can you not, right?
And we were talking, where I was talking to my son about Kevin from The Office. Kevin from The Office was the highest earner on Cameo in 2020. He made over $1 million on Cameo.
Wow.
I can see that.
Just being Kevin. And in real life, when you hear him talk, you're like, that's not Kevin.
Exactly. He talks
It's
like
so
a
weird.
person.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, Eric, what are we doing? It's crazy.
All right, this is gonna be our last thing before we go. I know you've all been playing Wordle.
Yeah.
Big fans of the Wordle. A friend of mine turned me on to a new site, a new game.
Is this the pop
Squabble.
music?
Is it Squabble?
We can play together. This is Hurdle.
Yes, this is the pop music one.
This is the pop music.
Oh,
one.
I heard
Yeah.
that was a thing. I was
Right.
curious how it worked.
A snippet of a song
You get longer and longer clips, right?
and longer clips, depending on how you do it. And so I thought we'd do this, and we're just going to let you yell out the name if you know what it is, and we'll see who figures this out first. I'll make sure my volume's up here, so hopefully you can hear this. Here is your first clue.
2001: A Space Odyssey.
Jacques Cousteau.
I got it on that, but I'm Mr. Pop Music, so
Right.
all right. We have no guesses. Anybody guessing in the problem is we're on a little delay for the chat.
Yeah.
Can you play it again or
I
no?
played a minute of Wordle. He refuses. All right, here comes the longer clip.
Oh.
That's not it.
O'Reilly
I know
Auto
what that
Parts.
is.
Woo!
Up, look at that. Rebecca got it right there. It is. For some reason, it's just playing the same clip over and over again. Oh, I'm not making a guess. I didn't realize that.
Oh.
But that was the same clip.
Dang,
Oh,
Rebecca.
But Rebecca got this. It is Seven Rings by Ariana Grande.
Oh.
So
I wouldn't know that if you played the whole song.
Yeah, I would know that. I knew that. I just didn't know what it was called.
Nope. Wow.
Here we go.
You can play
I
the whole
heard this song on repeat when I was doing my internship, at
Yeah.
Villa and Cathedral Prep in Erie. They the Villa girls played it every single practice.
Oh yeah, it was hugely popular. Using the refrain from My Favorite Things, the Christmas song, My Favorite Things. But it's a pop song, and she does all the royalties goes to whoever wrote that song. Richard thinking bad guy. You're right in the right genre. Probably around the same time frame too. So how about that? So there you go. So if you want to, and it again is just like Wordle. It's a daily game. You get one song a day.
I already play like 6 different versions of Wordle.
Well, you can add this to your list. It's a little
And there's a game called Squabble. It's a website, and you basically play Wordle with other people, and you have to. It's just over and over. You just guess words until you're the last person.
Interesting.
So
I heard somebody refer today as playing Wordle on hard mode is that you use yesterday's word as your first guess.
The one that I have that's on hard mode, you can use whatever word you want, but if you get a letter in the right spot, you can only put that letter in the right spot the rest of the time.
Here's what I like to do. I like to look at somebody's Wordle where they just show the blocks on Facebook or Twitter and then guess what their starting word was.
I tried to do that with Eric's today, and I was not even close.
Eric did really well this morning.
I don't typically share my Wordle.
And I figured out what word you did guess. I'm pretty
What was
sure. Huh?
Well, now, what did you figure out my first guess was?
It was, you had an E in there instead of an O.
Yes, that is correct.
Yes.
Yes.
So I guessed that. But after I got it, because I only had 2 letters when I guessed, and I got it. I couldn't believe it that I guessed it in 2 also.
Yeah, I don't typically. 2 is not normal for me.
Same.
But
I usually get 4, which is splendid.
Splendid.
It is splendid. And you all are splendid. You are all splendid. So we are so thankful that you could join us for yet another trip down Cinema Lane.
And we'll see you everybody Saturday for Clutch Radio.
Oh my, yes, of course.
And Sunday
at
5 o'clock for Tenant, which you really have to watch and talk about. And
you have to watch. Time runs out, as will the time you have to watch this movie.
In it.
And the Batman is in it.
The Batman.
The sparkly vampire.
The sparkly vampire. Yeah. So stupid.
The guy with the deep set eyes. It looked like.
And so is Mr. Loveless. Gilderoy Lockhart's in it too.
And Michael Caine.
I love Kenneth Branagh.
Always look at the one eye, never look at the other eye when you say Michael Caine.
So much to see. It'll be a feast for the eyes and the ears. Thank you, Richard.
Sharks and experienced people.
We are experienced.
You young poops.
But we think
Adam did see the Batman. We'll talk about it next week. I'm going to see I was going to go see it, and I had to help Rafi pick up a car, so I didn't get to go see it.
Well,
we'll talk about that on Clutch Radio.
There you go. Maybe it'll be the Batmobile. Who knows? That would be an episode. All right. Good night, everybody. Have a wonderful week. See you. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
In case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.